A lot of folks kind of forget this, but some of the largest, most successful agents, businesses, teams, companies were born out of the 2008, 2009 crash, right? Correct. That mega market shift gave way to Keller Williams becoming the #1 real estate company in the world, to a lot of teams, especially I was working the West Coast at the time. The mega West Coast teams cut their teeth in 2008, 9, and 10. That's where they became successful, because they looked at opportunities and they ran with them, as a lot of people were retreating from the marketplace, right? So you want to be one of the agents that doesn't just notice the shift. You want to look for these opportunities and you want to thrive in the shift. You want to thrive in the shift, right?
So our competition, our direct competition, Redfin, Zillow, and all these other guys, Realtor.com, they're spending money here. But where we win is if we go into the niches, into the long tail keywords, right? So here, I wanted to show you that. Let me go back to this, because as soon as the ad pops up, I click on it.
I think we are live and ready to rock as always. Everybody, thank you so much, LabCoatAgents family. It's such a pleasure and honor as always to be spending some time with you guys. And more importantly, in addition to that, is hanging out with my buddy Gus. Now, anybody who doesn't know Gus and really what he is all about, full disclosure, Gustavo Muñoz Castro is his full name. I like to call him Gus as a friend, but he's the CEO and founder of PowerISA, an incredible company, absolutely dominating the space. And I think this is extremely pertinent of topics of conversation to go into with the market shift. And the title of Gus's presentation today, which I'm super excited about, is 3 ways for your ISA essentially that can excel in a shifting market and change that way. Gus is going to drop a ton of knowledge, a ton of bombs. I would literally have your pen and pad ready. Jake and myself, as well as Gus, are going to be monitoring the comments. So please jump in. You got any questions? We'll try to get those in. You can also watch this after the fact in details over and over, or reach out directly to Gus. I am Greg Fowler. I am your humble moderator and host for today's particular program. I'm the founder of Lion Bolt Media, and I'm here to serve you. But enough with that. Gus, thank you so much, my friend. Always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Greg, for that great intro. Today's topic is a really interesting one, and I think it's on everybody's mind because we're seeing a lot of signs, right? We're seeing a lot of data points come up over the last few months. Another one dropped this morning, actually, right? We have a little number called the Consumer Price Index, which I've come to discover I didn't really care about this number for the longest time. The CPI is who cared what the CPI was? Because inflation in the US had been hovering like 2 or 3% for decades, it seemed, at least to me, right? Crazy. Guys, just little personal story. I grew up in Mexico in the 80s, a long time ago, and there was this little thing called hyperinflation, right? Which as a kid, you know what that means, except that every few months, my mom gave me twice as much lunch money as a few months before. Like, why am I getting twice as much lunch money? No, Mom, you made a mistake. No, you made a mistake. Everything's twice as expensive within a few months. Anyway, so small little inflation, hyperinflation story from Latin America. But this year, everybody knows what inflation is. And it seems like everyone's tracking what the latest CPI is going to be. And today, we saw some tough news. It was higher than what people estimated it was going to be, right? Everyone assumed it was going to be higher, but not the number we saw today. It was above 9%. That's a big number, guys. For someone that's been tracking this in the US, not very closely, it always been 2%, 3%, right? I mean, it was challenging to kind of fathom how it could go up this high. That's one data point, though, right? That's one data point. You need a collection of data points to start seeing a trend, right? And that's what I tell folks: don't go crazy over one number. Don't go full hog the other direction because there's one indicator that you don't like, right? So we also saw, employment numbers come out last week for the US. Those were stronger than people expected, right? Employment is still strong, right? So I mean, there's all these different data points, but one of the biggest things I tell folks, the market in general, we're seeing a shift. We're seeing a shift nationally. However, everything is local, right? That marketing term, hyper local, well, when the shift comes up, shift is hyper local too. You have to be looking at that at your local numbers, because I'm talking about this. I've been talking about the shift for a few months now, and I always get these messages from folks in some of these markets, especially South Florida. Holy cow, the South Florida agents go, guys, you're crazy. There's nothing happening. Well, I want to show folks some data, right? If you want to take a little bit of the emotion out of there, want to make sure that stuff is covered by data. The data helps us take a little bit clearer decision and see what's actually happening on the ground. So I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Let's see, Greg. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, great. I'm not going to bore you. This is not like a statistics class. There's a lot of charts and numbers here. I'm going to zero in on the important one. This data is up-to-date information on Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to focus on two things that matter the most at this point in the shift. Number one, how many active listings are there in your market versus pending listings? That's one thing. Number two, what percentage of those active listings today have had their price reduced, right? That's it, guys. Active versus pending and percentage of listings with price reduced. If we look at Las Vegas today, right now, this data is up to date to today, we're seeing 450 pending listings, 4,000, almost 4,500 active listings, okay? 10 times more active listings than what's currently under contract, okay? 6 months ago, nationally, these numbers were all basically the same for the whole country. We were reduced. If things went on the way they were going, we're going to run out of homes to sell within weeks in the US in December of last year. This was 7 months ago. It seems like it was a million years ago. It was a while ago, guys. Yeah. So look at this. Las Vegas is not there anymore. 7 months later, Las Vegas has 10 times more available inventory than what the market is currently absorbing. Okay. Interesting data point. Wow. Okay. The percentage of listings with the price reduced is almost 40%. Okay. In some markets like Austin, Texas, it's almost 50%. Boise, Idaho, almost 50%. Half of the active inventory have reduced their price. Guys, this number was below 10% 7 months ago nationally. In some of these markets, I'm very sure it was single digits, right? Like low single digits for some of these markets. Now it's 30, 40, in some markets, even 50% of the listings have had their prices reduced. What does it mean to me? My interpretation of this data is that Las Vegas is shifting hard, right? Yes, nationally, we're seeing a shift in some areas. You zoom into a city like Las Vegas, shift is hard in Las Vegas, right? Inventory has exploded over the last few months, and a lot of listings that are currently in the market are trying to find fair market value. They're in complete retreat. We listed here, holy cow, we should be here. Holy cow, we should be there. Holy cow, we should have been there. So that's the situation going on in Las Vegas currently. But that's not all though, right? That's not the whole picture. What you look at another market, this is Miami-Dade County. This is data for the whole county. This includes Miami, other cities in South Florida. 2,000 pending listings to 3,600 active. There's 1.5 active listings for every pending listing, right? In a lot of markets, that is a flaming hot seller's market. Not just a seller's market, flaming hot, white hot, nuclear grade hot seller's market. Things haven't changed that much in Miami. It's not yet, right? So both of these data, and look, price reduced listings are below 20%, right? Below 20%, less than half of what we're seeing in Las Vegas, way less than half than Austin and Boise, okay? Some of these markets are shifting hard, and some of them, they're just not there yet, not at that same level, okay? So the question I want folks in the webinar today, the question you should be asking yourselves, is your market closer to Las Vegas or is it closer to Miami? That's where you want to put yourself in the spectrum. Where am I at? Most markets are somewhere in between, and I purposely wanted to show you the opposite ends of the spectrum to kind of set the table for the discussion we're going to have today, right? That is, everyone and their mom should be looking at this data for their local market, and just keep it simple, guys. Because some people are telling me, Gus, the prices haven't gone down. You're right. And most of these markets, month over month prices either have just not moved much or haven't even gone down yet. Remember, closings are a lagging indicator. It's going to take us weeks, if not months, to see this data really affect closing numbers, amount of closings, and the closing price. It's going to take longer. What we're seeing right now in the moment, immediately, a leading indicator, right? Something happens first, are inventory going up and price reductions going up. That's the first thing we're going to see, right? And in some of these markets, it's really, really clear that we're going to see price reductions, closing price changes coming soon, really, really soon, right? But this is the data we see first. This is the data we see first. So number one indication is actually don't panic, right? Don't get taken, don't go crazy with the headlines out there. They want you to click on those links. People want to talk about a market crash. People want to talk about how terrible things are. Don't get carried away by that. Simmer down, look at pending active percentage of price reduced and see where you're actually at. See where you're actually at, guys. That's what we need to be. That's where we need to be, okay? Really, really important to understand that. Okay, great. So we've established there's a market shift going on. Some markets are taking it more on the nose than others, right? Very different depending where you are in the country, 100%. But okay, great. That's understood. Gus, what do we do now, right? My goodness, what's our response to this? Which is the reason you're in this webinar here today. That's awesome. Folks, when the market shifts, when market changes happen, there's always a moment of uncertainty just like this. People can sometimes forget that. There's months when we're not sure what's happening. We're not sure how bad things are going to get. We're not sure how much it's going to shift. We're not sure. The market shift becomes very clear 6 to 12 months after the fact. 6 to 12 months after it has happened, things become crystal clear, right? That's really, really important to understand. Even in 2008, guys, I bought a home in January of 2008, okay? My most expensive, biggest investment I ever made in my life. And I said, hey, there were indicators that the market was slowing down. The builder gave me all these crazy incentives. They gave me 20 grand to buy down my rate. I'm like, thank you. Give me all this money. Give me all this money. Yay. And a year, 18 months later, I'm like, oh, okay. I realize now that was in my area. I was like 3-4 months away from the absolute peak of the market. I was thinking I'm buying on the downtrend, but how bad could this be? A year later, I realized how bad that could be, right? It's never clear in the moment. It's never clear in the moment. You don't know what's going to happen. And I didn't draw that comparison to tell you we're in 2008 again. That's not what I mean at all. I just mean the clarity is never there in the moment. You're going to know in the future. But you can prepare now, though. Mm-hmm. You can prepare, because even in 2008, homes were being bought and sold. Homes were being bought and sold. The U.S. saw 6.1 million homes sell in 2021, okay? 6.1 million homes. Everyone, even back in December, was assuming that 2022 was not going to have that same number. Even back in December, economists were like, yeah, we can't do that again. That's just crazy, right? That's just nuts. Awesome. And the Fed started taking notice. Hey, maybe we should slow it down. So let's say we have 5.5 million homes sold in 2022, maybe 5 million homes sold in 2022. That's 10 million sides, guys. You need to focus on from here to the rest of the year, from here for the next 12 to 18 months, is doing what you can to get your unfair share of 10 million transaction sides, okay?
Well said.
5 million homes sold, 10 million transaction sides. That's what I want people to keep the focus on, right? Even in a shifting marketplace, millions upon millions of homes are going to be sold. The most important thing is to not lose track of that and to make sure that we're preparing to get our unfair share of those at least 5 million transactions we're going to see this year. Understand that. Change your mindset. Oh my goodness, the shift is coming and people get paralyzed. No, the shift is coming as a data point. It probably may not even have affected you yet, maybe not, but it should affect your planning for the next 6 to 12 months, 18 months. That's what it should affect. And it should inspire you to take action. Don't become paralyzed, right? I'm not saying don't ignore it, but don't become paralyzed and stop doing what you're doing. right? You should understand, and what I tell folks, your business should have at least 3 sources of leads in business. And if you only have one, then you really need to listen to the next minute, right? It's really important to understand how you can survive and thrive, even thrive in a shifting market. Thrive in a shifting market. A lot of folks kind of forget this, but some of the largest, most successful agents, businesses, teams, companies were born out of a 2008, 2009 crash, right? Correct. That mega market shift gave way to Keller Williams becoming the #1 real estate company in the world, to a lot of teams, especially I was working in the West Coast at the time. The mega West Coast teams cut their teeth in 2008, 9, and 10. That's where they became successful, because they looked at opportunities and they ran with them, as a lot of people were retreating from the marketplace, right? So you want to be one of the agents that doesn't just notice the shift. You want to look for these opportunities and you want to thrive in the shift. You want to thrive in the shift, right? That's what we're looking for, right? We're doing that. 3 parts of your business you should have. 3 parts. And I'm going to talk about that today. 3 legs on the stool. I could tell about that. If your source of business, #1 starts with tracking. Where did you get your deals from? Let's and keep it simple. Year to date, right? January through July of 2022. Where did your deals come from, right? And look at it. Take a cold, hard look at where those deals are coming from, because you should look at that data and then look at your budget for July. Where are you spending your money? Okay. Because if those 2 things are dramatically different, I'm spending my money in all these flashy tools, all these awesome things, and they haven't been contributing to my bottom line, at least in the last 90 days, take a cold, hard look at that and make sure you're investing in the right things. Because for a lot of agents, the answer is usually their database, referral and recommendation, past clients, their sphere. That's the biggest source of business, or it might be your only source of business for a lot of folks, right? Where the actual deals are coming from. And you might be investing in all these other things. Take a cold, hard look at that. But also, and I'm not saying that so you can cut everything. No, I'm saying that as you spend from today going forward, making this change today, Gus told me to look at where did my deals come from? I'm going to make it even easier, guys. 90 days. Where did your deals come from that closed in the last 90 days? And what are you spending on right now? I'm making it even easier, right? Even easier. That's going to be way more relevant. Where's it coming from? Really relevant. And then as you're going to spend, starting from today, you're going to be strategic, because to have a more balanced business, you should have 3 legs to stand on. One is going to be your referral database, and for sure, that's going to be there. But in a shifting market, it is also very vulnerable. Your business can just go down. My sphere, when I was an agent in Seattle for 3 years, closed over almost 100 deals, was the tech sector. Engineers like myself, they were working at Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing, Google. Well, if you guys have seen the stock market the last 6 months, those folks were riding high last year. They had all this money, all these options, all this cash. And suddenly for them, they're really pulling back on some of these expenses, okay? They're investing less. Their stock options went way down. Their stock awards went way down because the stocks are down. The whole stock market is down. Nothing against those companies, but the whole market is down. So if you're counting on those awards to come in, it probably gone down 15, 20, 30%. If you're invested in cryptocurrency, that market loves crypto, right? More than a 60% drop this year to date. I mean, more than that, right? So if I were relying 100% on my database in Seattle right now, I'd be struggling. I'd be looking, okay, now what do I do, right? That sphere is great. It's going to make me generational wealth going forward. But in the next 12 months, what's my plan? If that database does not produce what it normally produces, that's the first leg. The second leg should be prospecting, okay? You should have a prospecting leg to your business. And if you've done that in the past, I know the drill. You used to do that, Gus. I used to call expires back in 2010, 11, 12. It was awesome. But then, I got busy. And you got successful. In the moment you could stop, you stop. I get it. I understand it. I have empathy for that. Got to dust off that phone and look at it. And I'll talk more about prospecting in a minute. The other leg should be internet leads, guys. Internet leads. But the big difference from those 3 legs, your database, your prospecting based, and your internet lead gen based from a year ago, is that you really have to hold that money accountable this year. If you're going to strategically invest if you've got database, you've got it. That's awesome, right? If you don't have an awesome, there's another webinar we did before. I think you were there, Greg. The database domination, which is awesome, probably one of the best webinars I've ever done. Check that one out, right? And get your database to that level. But the other ones, you got to hold accountable. You got to hold them accountable. Be strategic. Invest your time and your money. Both of them are amazing, really, really valuable. Time and money in developing that, right? At PowerISA, I'm not just saying this. This is what we did. We actually spun up our cold calling team. We had gone away from cold calling as a team at PowerISA. Why? Because it's easier to not do cold calling, guys. And in our team, our sales team in the company, we spun up our cold calling team again. I said, why? Because it's a smart thing to do. Not because it's our biggest generator of income. It's not. But if the market shifts, it can be huge for our company. We're going to have another source of business that we're not just relying on our traditional sources, right? Internet lead generation, the same concept. Hold your spend accountable, invest in buying internet leads, and hold them accountable because it can also balance your business, okay? And I'm going to get more into that because now we're finally here, guys. We're into the meat of the presentation. The 3 opportunities for your ISA to help you out and care. This whole first, 10 minutes of the presentation, 15 minutes, have been setting the table for why it's so important to have your ISA do these activities, right? Why is it strategic to start prospecting if you haven't done it? Why is it strategic to invest in internet leads if you haven't done it, right? Because it can help you navigate and weather the storm. It can help you out 100%, right? Really, really important. Great, we're here. Opportunity number 1, and it's related to what I just said, expired listings. Expired listings. Opportunity number 1 is expired listings. Our friends over at RedX just gave me some really awesome data points. Throughout the year, we've seen, depending on the month, depending on the quarter, 30 to 40% increase in expired listings year over year, okay? That was early on in the year, 30 to 40% increase, right? The second best data call expires in the whole year. I don't know if everyone knows this, right? Drop a comment if you know the best day to call expires in the whole year. Drop a comment. But the second best day to call expires throughout the year, most years, every year, is July 1st. Because why? Because we're creatures of habit. We either set things to expire at the end of the year or in the middle of the year. That's just the way it works out. And I asked my friends at RedX, track the number year to date of that date. And can you tell me the number from last year? Please do that, right? I love to take a look at that. And they gave that information to me. Love you guys at RedX, right? They said there was a 70% increase year over year. I'm going to say that again. 70, right? 70% increase in expireds going out on July 1st compared to July 1st of 2021, okay? Right. So guys, that is a big change. I don't care how good you are at math or statistics. 70% of anything is a massive amount of that thing. so that was not that far away from being double what it was a year ago, right? So really, really interesting data point. In my prediction, Gus is going to put on, this is no longer looking at the data. This is interpreting it. And I'm going out on a limb here. And I'm going to say that we're going to see a big increase in the second half of the year. Massive increase with regards to 2021. Because 2021 was such a hot market, we saw less expireds nationally because the market was so hot, right? You could the market would forgive pricing errors, negotiation errors. Things were just selling, right? Things were just selling left and right, no matter what. If you're in Las Vegas and there's 10 times more inventory than there are people buying homes at the moment, you got to get way better at that. The market is not as forgiving as it was a year ago. You're going to see that in the expired listings, folks. You're going to see that in the expired listings. A lot of these folks that went on the market in late spring, in the summer of 2022, are not going to be happy. They're going to be shell shocked. They're not going to know what to do. They're going to go off the market. It is an opportunity to make that call, talk to them, right? And if that person has a real motivation, if they still need to sell their home and they're just still kind of clueless why it happened, it is your opportunity to educate them, to be the guy, take control of the situation and help them do what they want to do, which is sell their home. It's really, really important, folks, to understand this. There's going to be more and more people on this boat. And why did they expire? Maybe they misjudged the market. Maybe their agent. The reality is, and I hate to harp on real estate agents, the market has been moving so fast these last few months. It might have even taken the agent by surprise, what's happened, right? Really, and I don't want to blame them. They might have just gotten caught up in a rapidly changing market. It happens, folks. It happens. You can be the person to chart the correct course. This is where we are, and this is what you need to do to get that home sold. I was talking to one of my clients, John D. Smith, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is another one of those markets that it's just still hot. It's just still really, really hot, right? In general terms, still a tough market to buy a home in, but different from a year ago. Different from a year ago. And he has an ISA. This is the first case I ever saw this. Part-time ISA. Part-time ISA, right? Working for John D. Smith in Charlotte, North Carolina. And within 6 weeks, they got 2 signed listings from expireds.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait, what? Guys, that hadn't happened, much less in a market like Charlotte, in a long time. That kind of success with expired listings that fast just hadn't happened, right, in a long time. Why is that different? Because we're seeing the market change. I'm not going to say my ISAs got way better. Oh, we're so much better than we were a year ago. Come on, right? Gotta be honest here and go, hey, the ISAs are as good as they've been, right? The market is more favorable to expireds this year than last year. And until I talked to John, I would never have recommended a part-time ISA for a prospecting campaign, right? But if you have the right data and the market is in your favor, even a part-time person can have success like that. So John, within the first 6 weeks, got 7 motivated sellers identified, 2 of them listed right away with him, right? Awesome. Because he was able to talk to them. So I'm really liking that model. The ISA goes out there, and John described this in the best way I could have thought. They shake the tree, right? They shake the tree. They get people that are interested, that are still motivated, that have their hand up, and they pass them over to John to close that deal, right? Because closing expires takes skill. I'm not going to say, oh, it's super easy. It's not. But he was even surprised the kind of success he's been having with expired listings. And our interpretation was, yes, the right ISA, the right systems, the right process, better market. You can always say, and as agents, we love to take credit. Oh, we're so awesome. Guys, the market has a lot to do with it. Skill matters, and it's going to matter more. In a shifting market, here's some good news. In a shifting market, agents become more valuable because it takes more skill to get a property sold. It takes more skill, right? So that's good. That's good news. But let's not deny that the market also affects our numbers as well, right? A more favorable market to expireds means if you lean into expireds, you can make that another leg on your stool, right? Really, really important to understand that. ISAs, combing through these expired lists, calling through them, finding those people, and then passing them over to you to get that deal closed can be it can be a winning formula, especially if you guys did expireds in the past, right? A lot of my clients quit calling expireds at the end of last year. They stopped. They were so frustrated, they felt it was a waste of time. Totally understandable. I get it. Everyone that I know that quit calling expireds at the end of last year is calling them right now. Every single agent that I know that does that is calling them at this moment, right? Because there's opportunity there. There's opportunity. And the service of a professional real estate agent has been going up and up and up throughout this year, guys. Really, really interesting. Understand it, embrace it, don't shy away from it. Opportunity number two. And kind of the other, the brother, sister opportunity of the last one, for sale by owners. For sale by owners, right? As we see inventory climb, days on market is increasing as well. Days on market. In some of these markets, it went from, I saw a post, Greg, on the web, and I posted it actually in I think it was in LabCoatAgents. I said an owner panicking because he had not sold their home and it had been 2 days on the market. I'm not joking. That was a real post. And they guys, it's been 2 days. What's wrong with my home? Can you help me out here, right? Should they fire their real estate agent? Should they deal it? And this homeowner was panicking because all of their neighbors that had sold this year, 2022, had gotten offers within 5 minutes, right? Literally said, one of my neighbors was sold within minutes. They had sold the home. What's going on? Okay. So there's a lot to unpack there. What I'm trying to say is days on market is increased. I don't agree with that. That's 2 days, but it's an increase. Let's just go from that. It went from 2 minutes to 2 days at least, right? Yeah. So there's an increase there. Yeah, that person was kind of a little bit on the deep end. But again, their expectations were just incorrect at the moment, right? They were correct in January. They're not correct anymore for July of 2022. The market has shifted. So days on market is increasing. Seller anxiety is increasing. Seller nervousness is increasing. They need help. They want resources. They want help. The same is true for sell by owners. It's not different. It is not different. They don't have an agent to complain to, right? But they're struggling with the same things. They saw somebody's home sell on FSBO in 5 minutes in January. There's FSBO right now sitting on a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And they're thinking to themselves, what's going on? Well, I'll just wait I'm waiting for the right buyer. That's it. They're rationalizing why that's okay, why it's fine. And it's an opportunity for a pro to give them a call and tell them what they need to do to get their home sold. One of the best approaches I've seen, Greg, is agents literally calling them up and saying, hey, you've got an issue with your home. I know why it's not selling. It's this, this, and this, right?
Wow.
So whenever you want to get it sold, in a pro, I'll jump in there. I'll give you some suggestions. If you decide we can work together, that'd be awesome. But I'm here to tell you that's just not the way to do it, right? Here's my ebook with how to get more exposure on Facebook. Here you go. Here's my flyer, my printed guide, whatever you want to call it, on how to stage your home for success, right? How to get better pictures taken. Here you go, take it, right? And they're dropping these different tips, and this FSBO is realizing, holy cow, Gus knows what the hell he's doing. Wow, yeah, I need to talk to Gus, right? Because the one conversation you can't have as an ebook or a printed guide or a phone call is the conversation on price or condition, right? That has to happen face to face. And you have to have some trust and some rapport built to have that conversation. You can't have it over the phone. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. They're not going to pay attention. They're going to listen to you. If they feel you're an authority, if they feel you know what the hell you're talking about, and this is even better, if they feel you're coming from contribution, you actually want to help them out, they're going to go, Gus, I'm out of ideas here. What do I do? Great. Because there's two more things you do. One of them is price, condition, or both, right? So that's the time to have that conversation when they're ready to go. You can't have that. I would love to call up a FSBO and say, yeah, you're overpriced. Let's make a change and I'll list it. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to build some rapport, and it can take 8 or 9 attempts to talk to that FSBO before it's done, right? So having your ISA shake the tree, drop some of these nuggets to these FSBOs, start that conversation going can help, right? 8 or 9 of those touches. I'm not saying all of them can be your ISA, because once you've got a receptive FSBO, you should take that over. That's shaking the tree and giving you that nugget of a FSBO that's willing to talk to someone. It's not just kind of, and you know what I mean, guys? Some of them are going to go click. You're an agent, click, right? You're representing an agent, click. Those are the ones you can't talk to those. I get it. Focus on the ones that are at least taking those calls and receptive to those little seeds. You're planting seeds with this content. You should have 3-4 pieces of content ready to give away to these for sale by owners. Give it to them. Check back in on the next Monday. How'd it go? You get any offers this week? Is the home still available? Oh, okay, I see. Well, my agent Greg told me to give you this other piece. This might help out too. Check this out, right? And he'd love to go take a look at your property and give you more tips and suggestions whenever you want. Thanks so much. Bye. Move on to the next one. This can be seen counterintuitive. This can seem like, Gus, what do you mean? Go help them sell their home. They have to hire me first. It's the wrong mindset to have, guys.
Well said. Yeah.
These FSBOs don't trust you. These FSBOs are suspicious of you. These FSBOs assume you do nothing, you do no work, and you make too much money. That's their mindset. And I'm not saying that's good or right or wrong, good or bad. That's where they are. That's where a lot of these FSBOs, that's where they are. And so it takes a few attempts to kind of shake them up a little bit and tell them, hey, why is Greg giving me this stuff? What is it? I'm not going to list with you, Greg. Then don't list with me. Here's some information and you can sell out on your own, right? And if it doesn't work, here's my number. You can always give me a call. But they're not sure. They're going to be, oh, okay. Well, thank you. Angry, thank you. Well, thank you, Greg, for that information. So, something like that. They're not going to know what to do. They might not even know how to react in those situations, right? They might take the cynical approach. Oh, yeah, sure, for whatever. But you've planted that seed, guys. You've planted that seed. 8 or 9 touches, and some of these FSBOs will convert. The biggest indicator whether a FSBO will convert is actually days on market. I'm solving this for you guys. Days on market. A few months ago, 6 to 12 months ago, a lot of these businesses were just selling. That was it. A lot of my clients, same guys I've talked about before, stopped calling for sell by owners, especially January this year. It was just the worst, right? Every single one of them. FSBOs are back on the menu, folks. Let's start building that relationship, building that rapport, because you can do it, right? It's doable. It's doable. The ISA should shake that tree, drop some of these motivated FSBOs that are at least willing to talk to you, and you need to help take them to the finish line. Really important. ISA can be huge in that dynamic. Really, really important to understand that, okay?
Beautiful.
Awesome. Which brings me to my third and final opportunity we're going to talk about today on the webinar. And that is, you might not be expecting this one, but this one is the other leg on that stool, and that is internet buyer leads, okay? Internet buyer leads. Gus, but nobody wants buyers. Nobody wanted buyers in the hottest sellers market on record. I agree with you, right? Oh no, you already had 15, 20, 30 buyers. You couldn't even find homes for them. Oh my goodness. I get it. Gus, I had a bunch of these buyers. They all dropped off because of interest rates. I understand that as well. I get it too, which is why it's more important to do two things. Number one, someone, preferably your ISA, but if you don't have an ISA, you are the ISA. I love to say that. You should call through that entire list of those buyer leads you've got. I don't care if it's 1,000 people, if it's 100 people, these internet buyer leads, you should be calling, you should be checking in with them, and you should be talking to them about opportunities in this market. Because some of these are going to be priced out. I get it. Some of them stop looking. I also get that. But find the nuggets in those leads that are still looking, still motivated, still have a burning need to buy a home. Those are not going to change, right? That's important to understand. And the other thing you should be understanding as well is that the market conditions have changed, right? There's actually more inventory for them to pick from now. There's actually seller concessions now, right? Some of these sellers very smartly are offering $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to buy down their interest rate back to the level it was back in February, back in March, right? I'm like, okay, that can help the buyer qualify now. Hey, at 6%, they might not be able to buy the home they want. At 4.8, might be a different story, guys, okay? And there's a bunch, we should do another webinar. I probably need to have a lender here on creative financing in this shifting market. That's a whole other topic.
That'd be
at the
great.
very least, it's a really important one. There's so many possibilities. A more balanced market, guys, brings out the creativity, the possibilities, and the options that a flaming hot sellers market would just make useless, right? People with USDA, people with FHA, people with VA loans, they're getting their offers accepted in this market now, right? Which I don't think that's a bad thing, to be really honest with you guys. Buyers have a chance now. Awesome, that's great. There's this thing called assumable loans, right? With some of these programs. People didn't know what that was. Now they're starting to figure out what that means. So there's a lot of opportunities that are here. Talk with authority to these buyers about those opportunities. Talk to them. The ISA is there to call the universe of your old buyer leads. Find the ones that are still interested, so motivated, want to know about these programs, and talk to them. Educate yourself and talk about these opportunities with authority and tell them why there's still some opportunities to buy right now, and it's worth taking a look. That's one thing, right? Look at the old buyer leads. Number two, you need to generate new buyer leads, okay? Generate new ones. But Gus, my marketing dollars, my expenses. It's worth it to give that a try, because if you find buyers that are searching right now, 5%, 6% interest rates are already factored into their calculations, okay?
Yep.
That's why it's so important to keep generating. Don't stop generating those buyer leads. If you have them, don't stop it. And if you stopped it, try it again. Give it at least 90 days. You can't do less. It's useless to do less than that, guys. It's not worth it to do less than that. Make the spend, generate those buyers, because I definitely want to talk to people that 5 to 6% interest rates are not phasing them. I definitely want to talk to them. And then I can educate them on seller concessions, on assumable loans, on different loan programs that are going to make their prospects even better, right? If you're not well-versed in these programs, get well-versed in these programs, guys. In the shifting market, it takes more time to generate these clients. In a shifting market, it takes more calls to generate these buyers. In a shifting market, it might take more buyers to generate a closing, right, than it did before. But you gotta hustle, because in a shifting marketplace, it takes more work to keep you exactly where you are.
Yeah.
It takes more work to maintain and sustain your business, right? And again, this is why it's important to try these 3 legs of your business, because I'm gonna put this in writing somewhere. One of the 3 is gonna vastly outperform the other 2. Okay, one of the 3, I'm seeing this in my own business right now. One of the 3 is gonna vastly outperform the other 2, and it's gonna be one of the new ones you're trying out. That is the one you can double down on, triple down on, quadruple down on. And then we're in the space, but we're not just maintaining, Greg. We're not just staying afloat in the shift. We're thriving in the shift, okay? I wish I could tell you which of the 3 is going to work in Las Vegas. Well, actually, I know which one's going to work in Las Vegas because it's so extreme. But in other markets, right? And in Las Vegas, in 3 months, it's going to be the best expired market ever to hit Las Vegas in a long time, in a really long time. Phoenix is going to be something similar. Boise, Idaho, something similar. But not everyone's the same, guys. Not everyone's the same. So you need to invest time, effort, resources into all 3 of those different stools in that business, and get your ISAs. If you have an ISA, point them to these new lead sources. Everyone was ignoring these 6 months ago. No one wanted more buyer leads. No one wanted to call expired and FSBO. I get it. And you're probably right, correct? July of 2022, when we're recording this, things have changed, guys. It's different, right? You've got new opportunities coming up because one of those 3 is going to vastly outperform the others, and it's going to show you the way. This is going to be how you're going to thrive in the shift, not just survive, but thrive. Okay. And that is it, folks. That's a topic for today. We've got a special deal for folks that want to try even at least a part-time ISA. And again, 6 months ago, if you wanted to do cold calling with a part-time ISA, I would have said that's not possible. Now the market has changed, right? Actually, with a part-timer, and we have 2 part-timers ready to go ASAP. And if you don't need someone ASAP, if you can wait a couple of weeks, we'll have plenty of people available, no worries. But even right now, we have 2 people available to start ASAP and put these methods to the test in your marketplace, right? Really important to take that opportunity. You can run with it because now's the time, right? A best time would have been maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. The next best time is today. And take the steps and find the way to thrive in the shift.
Gus, you are floating, my friend. I can feel the energy. And again, I took tons of notes myself, as I always do when I get to hang out with you. And again, just from expires to for sale by owners to internet buyer leads, there's so many opportunities in that shift, and you explained them beautifully. We do have a question that's in those lines from Mary, and she essentially was talking about utilizing Zillow for about 9 months and essentially looking for a different opportunity for your recommendation for quality buyer leads. So Gus, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, yeah. So again, Zillow.com, Realtor.com. I'm not on the hate Zillow train. I'm not there. But yeah. I will tell you, it is challenging to convert those leads, and it is not just the conversion. It is really about the economics of that. Is working less and less. They're more expensive day after day, and as the shift is happening, they're getting even more expensive, right? There's less leads to delve out to their clients, so you're paying more and you're getting less. That's my take. And I spoke to a former Zillow employee that I met on LCA, Dan Boyko, former Zillow employee. And he says, you're right. There's less leads to give out, and they're just going to get pricier, and that's it, right? And they're really shifting more to the Zillow Flex option, which you're going to make way more money on. You have less leads, you're going to go hard on the source that gives you the most money, but that's not available to all agents. Very few agents get access to that. So in a nutshell, I guess we only have about a few minutes left. The biggest opportunity I see, Google and Facebook, guys. Google and Facebook leads. But here's a challenge. Those leads are difficult to convert. They have a 6 to 12 month time frame. That's normal for those leads. You can see that as a challenge, or you can see that as an opportunity, right? So that's where an ISA can really help out with those follow-ups, because it's all about checking with these clients, providing value, giving them those seeds, those nuggets, right? Don't just check in and you're ready to buy and meet with me. No, guys, that's the wrong way to do it. You're checking in not to see how they're doing, to give them the next piece of value you're going to give them. So for anyone, I think it's Mary, and anyone struggling to convert, because my biggest issue is not that you use Zillow and you didn't get a great ROI. That's going to be more and more common. Is that you got no viable leads? It might be because you're Mary. I'm going to say, be honest. I would check my follow-up game. Is my follow-up game on point? Because if you're unable to get good conversations and good conversions from Zillow, going to Google and Facebook might not solve your problem. It might not solve your problem. The economics of Google and Facebook are way better than Zillow. That, no doubt, in my mind, it's a much
100%.
better opportunity, right? So find a way. You can learn to do it on your own. You can hire a great marketing agency to do it. You can talk to Greg here as a marketer for the internet as well. I mean, there's resources in LCA to get great Google and Facebook leads. Tristan that swears by Google PPC. It's an expensive lead. He'd rather invest in those than in the really top of funnel leads. I get it, understood. But those are the biggest opportunities. But Mary, make sure you're not avoiding a tougher conversation on your conversion practice, right? What are you doing to convert those leads? And fix that first before investing in anything else. Okay, that's my recommendation.
Gus, I love that. And there's so much truth that anybody who's tuning into this live with us or after the fact, the fortune is in the follow-up, and ultimately it's multitude of touch points and really caring. And Gus, you have an incredible video, and I've actually shared it with so many people, where you're talking specifically about Facebook leads, and you're talking about how you treat them, the mindset. And I absolutely love that, because that's crucially important. If you're calling them yourself or following up, you've got to be in that mindset, not just to get through it, but to really be of a servant's heart, to really care and connect. That's a whole nother thing. You've done several topics on that, Gus. So Mary,
Jake, let's put that down there. I think we need to revisit that topic, Greg. I think we need to revisit that topic for the next webinar. We're going to go hard. We only have a few of them planned out, but let's do another one specifically on the Facebook lead conversion problem. And Google is a really similar problem space, very similar problem space. It's time to revisit that topic. It's so relevant right now. Folks, tune in. This will probably be in our August webinar. But in August, we're going to go rediscover this topic, because I think people need to understand that. Because guess what? Buyer leads coming back, folks. Buyer leads are going to be more valuable. They're already more valuable in a lot of these markets. In a market coming to you soon, that buyer lead is going to be gold. So let's double down. The good news is, though, that is the best lead to generate on the internet. It's the easiest, most efficient, highest ROI lead to generate on the web is the internet buyer lead.
Gus, you've done it as always, again and again, and just giving so much knowledge and information out to the LCA family and world. I can't thank you enough. It's always an honor and pleasure, and hopefully I'll be able to grace your presence on the next one. I would love to be involved in that conversation. It's always fantastic. But I do want to remind everybody that Gus and PowerISA, they do have promotion kind of going on right now. So we have links down below, so you can go visit PowerISA.com and really just connect with Gus. He's on so many different media platforms. He's always giving incredible information on how to grow and scale your real estate business. He's an incredible mind. So please tune into anything that Gus is putting out. And Jake also put in there in the YouTube channel for LCA, if you missed this, or you jumped halfway through, go back and watch it again and take notes and apply just one of these things that Gus mentioned. You're going to change your life and your business. I guarantee that. But Gus, thanks again for your time, my friend. I appreciate you. And I'll definitely catch you on the next one.
Thanks, folks.
See you, everyone. Take care.